The following is a podcast from a qualified senior care provider heard on the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here with Aaron Koelsch, CEO of Koelsch Communities, and that is Senior Living Communities. And Aaron, you've given us such an amazing background of your organization and your values. Thank you so much for being with us this hour. We're so honored to have you. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
You're such a busy individual, and to take time out to talk to us. We're hopeful that your expectations are being met, but also that our listeners are really getting the idea that this is a very special time for us to have you here. And
I hope so. Thank you.
I'm certainly interested because, we talk to a lot of senior living communities, and like you said, they're amazing. But each senior living organization that I talk to, they kind of have their own quote unquote niche in the industry.
Sure.
Obviously there's been evolutions, and you've been in senior living for a long time. Tell us a little bit about what makes Koelsch unique and a little bit about how you define your niche.
I'll do my very best. If I can, I'm going to just say one thing to something you just said, and that is that you talked to a lot of senior housing providers and that they're good. You found them generally to be good people. And
they are.
I just want to say that right out of the chute, that some of the best people I know on the planet are people that are seniors housing providers. None of us is perfect. And I am at the top of that list, but I will tell you some of my very best friends and people that I admire are in the industry in seniors housing. And so I agree with that comment. Just some of the best people.
I call you, all of you, angels, because you truly are. You have patience, you have respect, you are so dedicated to, 99% of you are that kind of person. And I would include in many cases those that operate adult family homes as well. The heart that goes into this industry is not for the faint of heart. It takes an incredible commitment, and it takes an incredible passion for seniors and the dignity and values that they hold.
Yes,
and I think that you guys are definitely in that realm.
So maybe what makes Koelsch unique in our eyes starts with the fact that we are truly family owned and operated. We have our own construction company. We build our own communities. With a rare exception of on occasion where we buy an existing community, Madison House in Kirkland, Washington would be an example of that. We did not build that. Very proud to own it, but we did not build. But 98% of our communities we built ourselves. As we've talked about and touched on, my wife does all of our interior design, and we manage our own properties as well.
That's amazing.
Top to bottom, I now have the privilege of having 2 of my 4 children working in the organization, and we're just real proud to do so. Love working with them. And so it really is a family owned and operated organization. That does not make us perfect. That does not make us better than necessarily someone else, but it does make us unique. It's not as common as it once was.
True.
So I think that is unique. And again, our name's on the front door. We've talked about that. We make my cell phone, our office phone number here, very prominent throughout the company. I get texts from employees often. My favorite time to text and email is between about 11 o'clock at night and 3 a.m. because everybody's asleep at my house, and no one wants to talk. So
do you ever sleep?
I do, but I don't require a lot of sleep. But subsequently, I'm not aging quite as nicely as my wife, but nevertheless, I don't require a lot of sleep. The other thing that I think makes us unique is that we are in our communities. We walk the floors of our communities. We make the effort to travel and get there, and not only know our people, but know a few residents. I have a note. I'm looking out my office window right now at a note on the wall from a resident who lives with us in Scottsdale, Arizona. She is living in one of our memory care communities, but she has no memory care challenges at all, but lives there because her husband is there. And so when I'm there, I make some time, and we sit and have coffee, and we visit for an hour or two. And I responded to her note just the other day, said, I plan on being there on such a day, and I'll come see you.
Aaron.
So I don't think I'm the only one that has ever done that, but we do take the time to do it, because remember, the reason we're here in the first place is her and her husband. So
Yeah.
I don't want to make, if she would like to visit, I'm happy to visit. She's a lovely lady.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I do think that makes us unique. I would say the other thing that you talked about, or touched on rather, is that we do tend to build memory care communities that are freestanding. We like that. Only one of our memory care components is within a larger structure. Everything else that we have that is specifically to memory care is its own building. We like that because we want our management in that building. We want our employees in that building to say, your family member is the only reason that we are here.
Yeah.
We're not here for a little bit and then we have to go over here and then we have to go over here. No,
Right.
this is the only reason we're here.
Mhm.
In my opinion, it's just an opinion and it's one guy's opinion. Oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, memory care components that are within the larger community can often feel like the ugly stepchild, or they get short shift or get second shift.
Right.
I want to be clear. I don't think that's all the time, and there are
No.
exceptions to that.
Right.
But I do think too often that is the case,
Mhm.
where memory care is dedicated to its own issues and its own community. The issues that memory care have and come up
Sure.
get the first priority and the only priority.
Well, and there's a feeling of not being locked in. I think sometimes, if you're in your own community and it's all you can, I know that those that have Alzheimer's, they need to wander, they need to walk, they need to,
Yes,
that's part of the process. So understanding that they have this whole space to themselves,
it's
they
theirs.
don't feel like they're in this little wing where they're isolated. And I think that's one of the things that's really important with
And
this
as we talked
process.
about, equally important, families don't feel that way either.
Right. Right. True. True. And so obviously you guys do memory care and you do assisted living. Now, remind me, I think you do an independent in certain areas, correct?
We do. We are just opening up. It's just there on Monday
Yeah.
of this week in Elk Grove, California. We're about ready to open our 7th freestanding independent living community. It's freestanding, but it is right next door to a freestanding memory care community. They're on the same
Wonderful.
campus. We don't build our independent living by themselves in a market without any one of our other support communities, either
Okay.
right next door or maybe a block away. And in fact, these two are on the same campus. Yes, they're beautiful. They're hit.
Mhm.
This one is filling up quickly, even though we haven't technically opened our doors yet. We have a lot of pre-leased apartments, which we are most grateful for. And we love doing that. We've actually been doing pure independent living back maybe in the mid 90s. We just stopped doing it for a while until about 6 years ago. We kind of got back in right after the 08, 09 kind of crash. What happened during that period of time is independent living really took a wash. People's home values were determined on whether they could move to independent living. But unfortunately, the demand for independent living kept going up, but the number being built just dropped off the planet. So we stepped in and started doing that back in CS222. I think we opened our first in many, many years in 2018. So 2017, 2018. So yeah.
And obviously when you build your own communities, that means that you can really innovate some new, ways of doing things. Tell us a little bit about that, Aaron.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do like constructing our own communities because we do get to do what we want to do. And an example of that is we were building our first in quite some time back in 2017. And we were probably 30 or 40% in construction when I decided, no, we needed a pizza kitchen oven in our dining room. So that was a $250,000 call and change. But because we do our own and we do our own construction, we just did it. I didn't have to get a ton of approval. We just went and did it, and it cost us a few dollars. But I am telling you, it was a great decision, and we've done them ever since. So we get to innovate with things that like tea rooms, or we do a full woodworking shop full of equipment for the men in the community, or a tea room for those that might want to take advantage of that, which we have. A movie theater, which we may not have in a memory care community, but in our independent living environment, we want a large movie theater for people to gather, etc. So any number of things that we get to do that because we build it ourselves, we just do it. And so we love that.
Yeah. And
And of
obviously,
course, in everyone, sorry, Susan, we have a place called Emmett's Garage where we feature an antique car in every one. We've talked about that.
I love
And
it.
Emmett was my father. He was the one that gave us the love of
Oh my
antique cars.
goodness.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And obviously, that comes with the vitality of life, which means wellness, nutritious food, et cetera. Would you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, if I can, by way of example, to your
Yeah.
question, I was just reading in Vancouver, Washington. We have a new campus under construction called University Village. It's next to the Washington State University campus, so we call it University Village. We've had some education programs back and forth, or we will have. But I'm reading every person that deposits with us is asking a lot of questions. How did you choose us? What did you like? What you didn't like? I would say in 2/3 of the pre-leases that we've taken so far, 2/3 of the people are coming from other communities. And the number one
Wow.
thing why they are moving or looking to move from their own community, number one, quality of food.
Yeah.
Quality of food is terrible, according to them. I don't doubt it. Our food is outstanding. We have a consulting relationship with Chef Darren McGrady, who is a chef to 6 presidents, Lady Diana and her 2 boys. And he since moved from England to Texas, and he consults with us. He's a wonderful man. He's a real friend. And the quality of our food is outstanding. And this is the reason many people move, is just quality of food.
Well, I've actually had the privilege of having lunch in a couple of your communities, and I will testify to that it's amazing.
Oh, I didn't know
So-
that. I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely. So you have your community relations staff also, I will just say your hospitality in my personal experience has been, amazing. So, with that alone, I can testify to that.
Thank
So
you.
Aaron,
Thank
how
you
do
for
we
that.
reach you?
Absolutely. Our general office number is 360-867-1900, and we will connect you wherever you need to go.
Right.
Our website is www.koelschcommunities.com. Koelsch is spelled KOELSCH communities.com. Koelschcommunities.com.
Perfect. And the last hour, Aaron's going to come back and we're going to talk specifically on location, on types of, care and quality of life at Koelsch. And we'll be right back right after this.
Answers for Elders radio show with Suzanne Newman hopes you found this podcast useful in your journey of navigating senior care. Check out more podcasts like this to help you find qualified senior care experts in areas of financial, legal, health and wellness, and living options. Learn about our radio show, receive promotional discounts, and meet our experts by clicking on the banner to join the Senior Advocate Network at AnswersForEldersRadio.com. Now there is one place to find the Answers for Elders.